Hi everyone, welcome to the Monday Angel Message. I'm Rachel Scoltock, and today I'm talking about how you may be limiting your own potential. And this is another version of imposter syndrome, but it's another side to it. So I work with a lot of women who are contemplating or are stepping onto their soul path, whether it be as a healer, a coach. And they're following their inspiration. They're light workers. They're people that know that they're here for a reason. They know that that reason is to help and heal in some way, to help the planet, to spread light, doing something that they love, that they know makes a difference in the lives of others and maybe makes a difference to the world, because every person that steps into their light, who has the courage to follow their guidance, their soul path, has a massive ripple effect out there in the world. And you don't have to be being a healer or being a coach or an author or anything like that. You might be doing something completely different, but because you have stepped into your power, claimed your truth, followed that inner light, that soul's guidance, that inspires others to do the same. And it also uplifts humanity, it uplifts the planet. You're sending ripples of light outwards. There's a lot in that. Hi everyone, you've just all popped up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lovely to see you here. So when you follow your soul purpose, things fall into place, doors open, ideas and inspiration comes to you. One step at a time, everything begins to unfold. But so many of the women that I work with that are ready to step into their purpose, they've been getting the guidance for a long time, or they've done it, but they've gone immediately into fear. So the fear starts to hold them back, and they stop tuning into the angels, they stop tuning into the divine guidance that's coming for them, and their soul, they start listening to fear. And one of the major ways that people do this is through fearing the opinions and the judgments of others. I wish I had $1 for every time someone had said to me, I can't move forward because I'm afraid of what other people are going to say. I'm afraid of what my loved ones will say. I'm afraid of what my family, my friends, my acquaintances, the general public, my town, strangers. It's something that comes up a lot. And so if you felt like this or you're feeling like this, then please know that you're not alone, because it's almost like a rite of passage for light workers, for mystics, for visionaries, for people who are naturally attuned to that inner drum. You feel like you've got to follow the beat of your own drum, but you don't know how to do that, or when it comes up, or when you start to fear the rejection, the mocking, humiliation. People will laugh. What am I going to say? How am I going to explain myself? What if nobody comes to my business because they're all busy judging me? How am I going to let even people know what it is that I want to do when I'm so afraid of sharing with people what it is that inspires me, that lights me up from the inside? And what I see happening sometimes is that flame starts to dim, because you stop tuning into the messages from your angels, God, the universe, your soul, essentially. Your soul is like the microphone that comes from God and the angels, that comes from spirit. It amplifies. It's your unique blueprint, right? So what you're going to do this lifetime, what lessons you're learning, certain people that you're to meet, certain, your life purpose, your path that you're to follow. And so the messages that you will get from spirit, the messages that are genuinely coming from God and the angels, and the messages that come from inside of you, they all match. And so sometimes you might come on here and hear me say something and you go, oh my goodness, this really matches me. I can't believe it. Why does it feel like she's only speaking to me? People say that to me a lot. And the reason it feels like that is because I'm genuine. I'm genuinely coming from that voice of God, and I'm not boasting or blowing my own trumpet. I'm very, I'm I'm very vigilant. I don't want to be sitting here bullshitting people at all. Oh my God, can you imagine the humiliation, the embarrassment? That would just be horrible. So that's why you feel that way when you hear messages. I've recently had a couple of sessions with different coaches and helping people, and they've repeated the same message to me, even though they haven't known each other or known what it is that I needed to hear, because that's the message I'm getting at the moment. It matches what my voice is. So know that that's a good way to judge whether somebody is genuine when you're getting those messages. But what happens is, if you start listening to that fear inside of you, or the fear voices, the limitations of the people around you, or what if it doesn't work? What if setting up your own business doesn't work? What if nobody comes? Or someone who says nobody's interested in that, or people that just don't believe in what you believe in, and they want to bring you down. And it's almost like a rite of passage that we all have to face that. I know I did 15 or so years ago. I had to face that. And the way I faced it is actually in my book, My Life with Angels, but it taught me an enormous lesson. And the first lesson of it is that we have to remember that people always will mirror the fear and the doubt that we have inside. So the more fear energy that we give to this very low consciousness idea of I must listen to the opinions, the limitations, the judgments of others, I must hide from these things. It's a very low consciousness because it comes from fear. When we're adhering to that pattern in us, and we've all been taught that pattern, and we've got to break away from it, because each of us is unique and we have to listen to the soul rather than what everyone else is telling us to do. All right, and what your soul is telling you to do isn't to destroy yourself, isn't to be unhealthy, isn't to do something toxic or painful. Your soul is leading you to growth. Your soul is leading you to your potential, to fulfill your potential, to fulfill your peace, inner peace, happiness, creativity, all of the things that you come like an acorn with all of that wrapped inside of you, just like the acorn has a tree inside of it. And so when you hit that barrier and you decide not to do what you want to do, but to respond to those fears by hiding, by keeping yourself small, by saying, okay, I'm not going to do it, you're actually lowering your consciousness. You're actually digging yourself into a deep pattern, which will come up again and again and again for you. You'll notice it in every area of your life until you clear it. And the way that you clear it is that you take the courage and you pray for courage. You pray to change that pattern of consciousness that is keeping you stuck. I'm starting to feel that the angels really working through me at the moment. So if I look a bit flushed, that's why. So you need to change that pattern. You need to say, I'm ready to surrender the pattern of fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of humiliation, the fear of failure, the fear of what people think of me. And I'm willing to claim my ascended pattern, my program, which is to listen to my soul, to follow my purpose, to trust in my guides. And what happens then, it's like a flower opening. You'll find that your all of your gifts, which might have been a bit muted, or your confidence seems low, everything will start to flower, everything will start to blossom and grow. This is a really strong pattern of sabotage. It comes from fear. So if you're saying, what am I doing to sabotage myself? Look at those kind of fears. Am I fearing what other people are going to say or think? Now, let's tell the truth here. Not everyone is going to support you. Not everyone is going to be delighted about what you decide to do. Sometimes because they feel uncomfortable about it. They perhaps haven't followed their light and they feel challenged or triggered when you follow yours. Other people just don't get it. You know, I've been doing this a long time. There's still people that don't get what I do. There's still people, well-meaning people, that kind of frown at me and say, do you think you should really be talking about angels? Is that really a good marketing technique? Or are people going to think you're nuts? Well, some people are going to think I'm nuts. Some people do think I'm nuts. But the thing is, it's not what they think. It's what I think. And it's what I feel. And it's what I connect with. And it's my truth. And that's where I'm coming from. I want to share my truth. And I know my truth is a message of love and light. and that message of love and light affects people. I have thousands of emails, messages, and letters from people who have been changed by the work that I do, even just through the videos. So I keep going. I keep going. And sometimes, yes, my self-doubt has been quite strong. And at those times is when it's a sign to go within and do the work. And that means you've got to stop. You've got to stop buying into it. The angels were talking to me earlier as I was getting ready, and they were saying, when you buy into fear, when you buy into that person's going to judge me, or what that person thinks of me, or how that person treated me, you start to create an energy inside of you that will not only sabotage your purpose and path, it will sabotage everything in your life, because you are giving more power to the external, to the fears of others, the limitations of others. And even sometimes we give power to things that we don't even understand. We project things onto it. So we say, okay, that person doesn't like me, or is acting like they don't like me because of this, this, and this. Or I'm not good enough, or they're mean. But we don't actually know what it is that they're thinking. We don't know what fears have been triggered inside of them. We don't even know what's going on in their private lives. And unless we check in and ask, and sometimes it's not worth asking, they might not be close personal friends, and sometimes it is worth it. Or sometimes it's like, I'm not going to talk about that stuff with that particular friend because it triggers them every time, and it always ends up going in a bit of a spiral, because I'm not going to change them. And actually, if I'm accepting myself 100%, why do I have to work so hard on getting other people to accept me? Am I manipulating the universe? Am I asking other people to give me what I won't give myself? And you see, you can't trick the universe. You can't con the universe. You can't manipulate the universe. You can't control the universe. The universe is all-seeing, all-knowing, right? Not judgmental, but it's a mirror. So everything that you put out comes back to you. And so in the same way, if we're trying to manipulate other people to make them love us, if we're trying to manipulate and say, okay, I can't do this until another person says that I'm okay with it, until everybody's cheering me on, I'm not going to do it, then you're going to stay stuck for a really long time, because you're asking the impossible and you're not learning your life lesson. You're not learning your spiritual lesson. And your spiritual lesson is grow. It always is grow. So if you find yourself stuck at this moment in a self-sabotaging pattern, and you're saying to yourself, I can't do this because what is everyone going to think? I can't do this because this person was mean to me. I can't do it. Then the answer that's coming to you is grow. You've got to grow. You've got to put on your big boy or big girl pants. You've got to come to the party. You've got to show up fully and go, okay, how can I grow through this? How can I stop staying and keeping myself stuck? So you've got to let go of the pattern and the program. You've got to recognize it for what it is first, but you've got to let go of that program. Recognize fearing the opinions of others is a low consciousness program, and you need to grow out of it in order to listen to your soul. You need to tune out of it and see what it is that your soul is asking you to do, because there'll always be someone asking you to do something to please them, to make yourself small in order to keep them happy. That's not going to make you very happy. You know, there's a saying that at a certain age, certain women become angry, and this isn't a sexist comment, and it's a therapeutic observation, because they've spent their lives giving their power away. And this probably happens to men too, we're not dismissing them. They've spent their lives pleasing other people, giving their power away, always doing what everyone else wants them to do, and they haven't spoken up. They haven't taken the courage to say, hang on, I'm going to carve out this energy for me. I can do that and still look after the children, or do what I have to do at work. But they haven't done that. And so by the time they get to a certain age, who knows when that is, 50, 40, 60, there's this big pile of resentment, because they've been sitting on it for so long and they haven't expressed themselves. It comes out as bitterness. It comes out as snarkiness. It comes out as jealousy. It comes out as anger at family members or people, you know, left, right, and center, because they haven't been listening to their soul. So I want you to say to yourself this week, you know, what is it that I am putting off or not doing, or perhaps not doing in a big enough way because I'm afraid of what other people are going to say or think? And then you have to face that, and you give that to the angels, and you say, I want to surrender this program in me that fears rejection, fears humiliation, fears judgment. And I want to replace it with courage, guidance, clarity, leadership, because you'll be a follower your whole life if you don't step into what is it that you really need? What is it that you really want? So Natalie is here. Hi, Nat. And she's saying everyone doesn't always like what I'm doing. So no, like Natalie has an amazingly successful dance school, and she's just gone great guns with it, very successful. And she's also an amazing, powerful light worker. No, and not everyone is going to like what you're doing, but you know, what's the cost of not doing it? What would be, imagine if you hadn't done it. Imagine if Louise Hay hadn't written her first book and started teaching. Imagine if Dr. Christiane Northrup or Tony Robbins or any of the Oprah, any of the people that you admire had never gotten off their butt and they just listen to those voices that are like, hang on, that sounds a bit weird. Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to write about affirmations? Why are you going to talk about angels? Why are you going to motivate people? What gives you the right to do that? If you listen to those voices, there wouldn't be anyone doing anything inspiring. Everybody has the same pattern. The problem is, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? And I say, take the first step. Natalie says she would feel totally unfulfilled. Exactly. Hi, Mary. Hi, Ida. Sorry, I haven't said hello to everybody. Hi, Leanne. Thank you for saying I'm glowing. I had quite a glow going on there for a moment. Lucy, Kylie, hi. Hi, Erica, Jess, Patricia. I probably already said your name. Some of you have disappeared up, and I can't see it. So know that it's a sabotage. Know that it comes from fear, and call in the light. Just call in white light and surrender it to the angels and to the light, and say, I'm ready to step into my path and purpose. The other thing Angel said is spiritual practice. If you have a spiritual practice every single day, something that's non-negotiable, that will strengthen the voice of your soul and diminish the voice of your ego and your fear. And if you still feel stuck, that means perhaps there's a cord there. Perhaps there's something there that that either you're not willing to let go of, you're not willing to look at, or you have been swamped by somebody else's negative energy and you need to clear that energy out. So I'm going to pull you a card. I would love to take some questions if anyone has any questions about this before I leave you to it. I've noticed that if I go over 30 minutes, a lot of people don't watch the video. So I'm trying to keep it less so that I can spread my message far and wide and people don't get bored, right? I don't want to keep repeating myself. So know that you are a unique being of light. You have your own, you may be strongly related to people in your family, very close to people in your family. You might not be. You might have friends with very strong opinions. You might be terrified because it's in us, right? If we're rejected from the tribe in ancient times, then we're on our own and we don't survive. So that's an old survival thing that we don't need anymore. The thing is, you know, I thought of the ugly duckling this morning. Do you remember the story of the ugly duckling? And when it grew up, everybody was calling it names. Everybody hated it. Everybody called it ugly because it was different. And when it grew up, it was a swan. And it was meant to be hanging out with the swans. But everybody loved it because it blossomed into who it really was. And I got the message from that is that the ugly duckling is a metaphor for listening to your ego, listening to your fear. So we're unfulfilled. We're like little ducklings until we start listening to the voice of our soul. And sure, you know, our family are there to feed us, hopefully, you know, put a roof over our heads, nurture us until we get big enough to go out and do what we're meant to do. If we stay like children when we are 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, if we stay like children, worrying about what people think of us because we're afraid we won't get our needs met, then we never grow. We're not growing. We're we've got to start listening to this. And sure, you know, many of our family experiences aren't ones that give us the tools to do that. But that's okay. That's part of the challenge. You chose them. Sorry, but you did. Your soul chose them for the perfect lessons. And the perfect lessons is usually in the duality. It's the opposite of what you would really have wanted. And so you have to take your power back and start giving it to yourself. I have set a new intention that I'm no longer working with people who refuse to grow up, who want me to wave a magic wand and fix them. I'm working with people who are ready to step into that path and purpose. I'm not going to be the dumping ground anymore for people who just want to whine. I'm working with people who want to step into that soul potential and be leaders. Okay, so listening. I love it. Okay, these are Rebecca Campbell's cards, Work Your Light. And I read the cards as I read them. There are actual messages in the book, but by the beautiful Rebecca Campbell. I love what she's doing. So this first message, look at that. You are already doing it. Now look at the picture. It's like someone about to step into something, someone about to step into that space. Oh God, it's frozen again. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So you are already doing it. You're already on the path. You can't turn back. And that's the one thing about being a light worker, about being a spiritual being, is that you can't turn back. The second card, and if this doesn't work, I'll put it in another video, is soul family. This is absolutely perfect. It's absolutely perfect, because as we leave behind the people that are maybe holding us back with fear, with opinions, either they grow with you, which I've found with a lot of people in my life, is that at first they were like, that's a load of crap, I'm not interested, you're mad, see you in a month when you're failing, that now they've come around to my way of thinking. And some don't, some fall away, and that's okay. But you attract your soul family. So this card says, soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. And that's what I'm in the middle of doing at the moment. I'm creating a space for you, a community where you will feel you are with like minds, you're with your soul tribe. And that is going to be a place where you will learn the steps for working through your fears, and you are going to be around support, and you're going to be getting lots of guidance and lots of tools to help you to move forward on a practical, spiritual and physical level. So as the video has stuffed up, I'm going to leave and then come back on another video and just answer the few questions here. Okay, thanks so much. Angel blessings. Have a wonderful week ahead.